Hi, I'm Pippin Major, Sloth-in-Chief of Hanging Sloth Studios and the creator of the podcast Clockwork Bird. I'm here to tell you about our new podcast, Spirit Box Radio, an immersive horror audio drama about unlikely radio show host, Sam Enfield, who has to fill in for the illustrious psychic, Madame Marie, after her mysterious disappearance. The show stars me as Sam Enfield, and a lot of the cast you already know from Clockwork Bird, including the voices of Sophie Bennett, Alice Jones and Shelly. The show is packed with fantastic new music, loads of spooky stories, and I'm really excited for you to listen to it. Spirit Box Radio will air on Thursdays from the 19th of November 2020, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just search Spirit Box Radio or go to hangingslothstudios.wordpress.com/spirit-box-radio to find out more. Tune in, get spooky. Sloth Studios presents Clockwork Bird, or The Modern Icarus.
You can't keep running from this forever. Sooner or later, he's going to die.
Everyone dies, Alice.
He's young. He could live.
He did once.
And what he is now, is that not alive?
No, it isn't.
Oh my God, you really believe that?
You don't understand.
You say that an awful lot for someone who doesn't do very much explaining.
Look, there's only so much I can tell you, I'm sorry. But the situation is fraught, my hands are tied. All I can do is offer him the best care I can, and that's all.
Isn't this the best care?
We have no idea what this would do to him.
God, I'm sorry. I looked into the notes. I know I shouldn't have.
The notes?
Yes. Darwin's notes.
I had suspected that you had looked at them before you invoked Darwin like a god the other day.
I just brought it up in case it could convince you. I didn't invoke him. You were working with him on the second synapse concept, weren't you?
It was for research into dementia. It was nothing to do with Robin.
When has any of this been to do with him specifically, ever? To me, it looks like he just kind of got caught up in all of this.
That's because you don't understand.
So tell me.
I can't. I'm sorry.
How is it different from the ones in all of your other subjects? What does it do?
Look, it didn't work, all right. If you're hoping it will magically fix whatever is wrong in Robin Yeager's head, you don't understand what happened to him.
He was dead when you got him?
Yes, he was dead.
But he's not dead now.
I wouldn't go that far.
You need to do something, Sophie. I mean, whatever happened to him before doesn't matter. If you don't help him when he dies this time, you'll have killed him.
The second synapse concept is not what you think it is.
And what is it that I think it is?
You think it's better, more sophisticated. You think it's a way to deliberately reconnect a brain than the original net of synapses. It's not.
So, what is it then?
It's like a computer.
Like a computer how?
The gaps in your thinking, it's supposed to fill them. So, theoretically, what we hoped, what Darwin hoped, he and Sam, they thought it could mean we could bring back others, but more completely. But Alice, you have to understand, it didn't work. It never worked. The few subjects we installed the new net into, they couldn't even breathe on their own. That basic function, which was basically the only thing we could guarantee the original nets would do. The readings on the monitors, tracking brain activity, they made no sense. It was there. But it was even more random and sporadic than in Robin. It was a mess. It was a terrible idea. We should have never have attempted it. And I will not do it again. Not with Robin. Not after everything he has already been through. I will not abide it.
He was going to throttle himself with his bed sheets the other day before they drugged him.
But they got to him in time. He can be managed, Alice. He needs time to rest. We've run him too hard, expected too much. I warned Sam that the 2 new sets in 6 months was too much for him now. It's not like when it was just the 3 of us. He needs time to adjust, to recover.
I don't understand why you're so desperate to talk yourself out of this.
Because he's my charge, Alice. Whatever he is now, I made him into it. It's my responsibility to ensure he gets the best treatment that he can. I can't stop Sam parading him around like a show pony. I can't stop them putting him in magazines and switching out the limbs like their shiny outfits. They were not designed to be removed or replaced at all, let alone this frequently. In so many ways, Alice, in far more ways than you could possibly understand, my hands are tied. There is nothing I can do, except all that I can within the limits imposed upon me. I cannot risk what little he has on a wild attempt at something impossible.
You're talking like he's just, I don't know, like he's sick and he's getting the proper care he needs, but he's not. He is clearly sick, but he's shut in a concrete room, apart from when you and the rest of your little team think it'd be good for business if you paraded him about a bit. It's a circus. They banned treating animals like this decades ago.
He doesn't know what's going on.
He knows. He screams. I heard him. I've seen him.
You should never have.
I looked behind the curtain. Oh, come on, Sophie, please.
I'm afraid.
What?
I'm scared. It could go wrong. It could change nothing. It could...
Could what?
Right now, he forgives me. He doesn't say anything, because he hasn't the capacity to. But I can feel it sometimes in moments where I just do.
And you're scared that if you do this, and it works, like we both hope it would, then he won't forgive you anymore because he'll actually start to get some grasp of what has happened to him.
Yes. That's what I'm scared of.
Sophie, don't you see? That is his call to make, not yours. I mean, it never was, and it definitely shouldn't ever be. Either he forgives you, or he doesn't. Either way, he'll be... I don't know. He'll be better than he is now.
We can't let him go, Alice. You don't understand.
Jesus, fine. No, I don't. Explain it to me.
I'm sorry, What you fail to grasp is that even if we were to be successful in this endeavour, Yuko's hold over Robin wouldn't be any less absolute than it is now. It wouldn't be as though he could be let out. He couldn't ever lead a normal life.
I don't imagine I'd be able to either, had I been through what he's been through.
No, Alice. They'd keep him. They have to keep him.
Why? I don't know, if this was just what happens, if he snaps back into himself and is as good as he ever was before he died in the first place, would you have kept him buried?
No. But there's been so much that's happened.
Aren't you guys the king of NDAs?
There would be just too many questions.
So he's a prisoner forever, so what, you just keep him dumb so he doesn't ever fully grasp what has happened to him?
In a way. Is that not kinder?
No! It is not kinder, it's monstrous.
Did we not once trial drugs on animals because it was less traumatic to them than it is for human beings?
Holy shit, Sophie, this is not a drug trial. He's not a guinea pig. I mean, this is not for the benefit of anyone but this company's bottom line. I don't think the guinea pigs ever did suffer less than human beings. They just suffered differently, and we valued that suffering less. I don't think that keeping a human being in a state where you fail to fully recognise his suffering just because it makes you more comfortable makes you a hero.
I'm not trying to be a hero.
And what are you trying to be?
I don't know.
Well, you better think of an answer quickly, because there is a man 2 concrete floors down, probably screaming at the top of his lungs in pain you caused, which you are reconciling as acceptable because, what, you don't think of him as fully human?
I don't know what I think.
don't you think you should, given that you're in charge of this whole operation?
What on earth gave you that impression? At best, I'm a mid-level manager of the situation. At worst, I'm hardly better off than Robin himself.
I don't see you writhing in agony on the ground dislodging the G-tube they had to put in you because you stopped being able to swallow and nobody could be arsed looking into why.
You think I didn't look into it because I couldn't be arsed?
I don't know what I think.
I can't help you, Alice.
I don't need help. Robin Yeager does, and you can help him.
You don't understand the nuance.
Ever stop and wonder if maybe I do understand the nuance, Sophie, and I still just think you're wrong? Or is that something you won't consider because it makes you too uncomfortable?
I've done my best for him.
He will die if you do nothing.
He may die if I do this.
At least you will have tried.
I could ruin him. Far more than I already have.
The only thing worse than what you've already done is to let it continue.
You really believe that?
I do.
I never meant for it to be this way.
I know. And that's how I can stand to look at you still. It's how I can believe that somewhere, deep down, you know trying the second synth design is the right thing to do, because I don't think you're as bad as the worst mistake you've ever made. I think you can be better. I think you can be good.
Alice.
Maybe he won't forgive you. Maybe he can't. But what if he wakes up and he looks you in the eyes and he knows, he gets it, and what if you can sit down and explain to him how this all ended up the way it was? What if you could talk it out? If he smiles? If he thanks you? I mean, not just for this, but for bringing him back, for saving a life, because that is just as likely.
It's not, Alice. I wish it were. But Robin Yeager had a complicated past long before he ever came to me.
Okay. I'd love to hear about it. From him.
You've made your point.
You'll think about it.
You know, even if I was on board, I couldn't do it.
What do you mean?
I can't do this by myself. I invented half of this, but only half the rest.
So talk to him.
I wouldn't know where to start. And you know, if this happens, you'll be just as culpable as I am.
You'll rat me out.
I can't do this alone, Alice. I need help.
You need someone else's help, not mine.
There is nobody else, Alice. You know, if a word of this got upwards, we'd be shut down in an instant. And then where would Robin be?
What would I have to do?
Talk to him. Keep him calm. Work with him.
How am I supposed to do that
If I'm cutting into his skull as you do it, you can handle it, Alice. You've seen him at his worst. This will be no more violent than that. Less so, in fact. I'll sedate him, keep him pliant. He's sedated enough anyway.
Are you agreeing?
No. I'm simply stating the facts.
And the facts are you need me to get my hands dirty?
Metaphorically speaking, yes.
Is this what I am? I can learn. I can understand. Can I help with anything else? Hey guys, expect. I can learn. Is this all I am? Robin Yeager is good. Consciousness. A semblance of consciousness. I'm a letter. Is this what I am? Robin Yeager is good. Sweet. I'm a letter.
Alouette, je suis alouette, alouette, je t'allumerai, alouette, je suis
Clockwork Bird, or The Modern Icarus, is a podcast distributed by Hanging Sloth Studios under a Creative Commons International Share-alike license. This episode stars Daisy Major as Shelly, Gary Major as Dave, Jessie Jeffrey as Alice, Alex Pylover Richardson as Sophie, and me, writer, director and producer Pippin Ada Major, as Eliza, Noah Davis and the Snake. As a new podcasting studio, every like, share and recommendation means the world to us. The podcast is written, directed, performed, edited and produced on no budget and exists only through the incredible time and energy all of our actors put into the show for absolutely no fee. You can stop by to say hi to us on Twitter at Hanging Sloths, or you can visit our website hangingslothstudios.wordpress.com, where you'll find transcripts of all of our episodes. Consider sponsoring us at patreon.com/hangingslothstudios to help us keep making the podcast, support our cast, and get access to behind-the-scenes content. That's patreon.com/hangingslothstudios. Hello and welcome to Spirit Box Radio. No, too chipper. Hello and welcome to Spirit Box Radio. Is that even what Madame Marie says at the beginning of the... she never left a script or anything. Press to turn on Telegram. Yes, I know, but what do you say at the beginning? Wait, no, here we go. For the first week of my absence, Sam. How ominous. Hello and welcome to Spirit Box Radio. Remember, listeners, Halloween is every day. The walls of the spirit world are always thin. They're really more like chiffon curtains, the kind that catch in the breeze, twisting, clean and comforting by the daylight, but grey and half-formed, watching you at night. What foul things lurk at the edge of your peripheries? Find out today by phoning in to Spirit Box Radio for just £15 plus your standard network rate.